I never thought I'd be the kind of guy to get blindsided like this, but here I am, trying to make sense of everything that's happened. My name's Mike, and Lisa and I have been together for about 5 years. In the beginning, everything felt perfect. She was charming, smart, funny, everything I thought I'd ever want. I believed I'd finally found someone who truly understood me. Sure, we had our ups and downs like any couple, but I genuinely thought she loved me, and I loved her. At least, that's what I believed. Lately, though, things started to feel different. She seemed distant some days, distracted even when we were together. She'd cancel plans last minute, say she was busy or tired, or sometimes wouldn't answer her phone when I called. I told myself it was just work stress or her being overwhelmed. But deep down, something felt wrong. I tried to convince myself I was just overthinking, but that nagging feeling wouldn't go away. Then came the night I saw the biggest sign that something was seriously off. I was out of town for work, which happens fairly often, and I called her to check in. Normally, she'd pick up right away, but this time her phone just rang and rang. When she finally answered, her voice sounded different. Too casual, too cold. I asked how her day was, and she said she'd just been watching TV. I suggested maybe she'd come hang out with my friends, but she said she was tired and planned to stay in. That felt weird, but I didn't push it. Instead, the next morning I checked her social media. I know I shouldn't have. Trust is supposed to be automatic, but when things feel off, suspicion creeps in. I scrolled through her messages, photos, and posts, and then I saw it. A message from Tom, our neighbor. At first glance, it seemed harmless, a simple, good morning. But what caught my eye was the timestamp, 3 a.m. Then I saw her reply with a smiley face. I was stunned. I knew Tom. He was the guy who always waved when I mowed the lawn, the one who stopped by with his dog now and then. Lisa had always said he was just a friendly neighbor. But that night, she was texting him late into the night while I was away. That wasn't all. There were other messages, flirty and suggestive, things I never wanted to read. They talked like more than just friends. Worse, I discovered she'd invited him over while I was gone. So, I did what any hurt but rational guy would do. I kept digging. I looked through her recent photos and found one posted that very day. In it, she had her arm around Tom, both smiling like they shared a secret. The caption read, "Enjoying the weekend with my favorite neighbor." Yeah, right. Favorite neighbor. Like I was supposed to believe it was all innocent fun. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew I'd see it. The betrayal hit me harder than I expected because I had trusted her with everything. I thought she was different. And then the pieces started falling into place. I remembered her telling me she was going out to dinner with her friends that night. But clearly, she had been with Tom. The fact that she lied to my face, knowing I was thousands of miles away, made it even worse. I felt sick, angry, confused, humiliated. How could she do this to me? I kept asking myself, was I ever truly loved, or was I just a convenient guy to keep around until she found a better option? Those questions haunted me for days. Now, here I am, trying to process everything. I haven't confronted her yet, but I know I can't keep pretending I didn't see what I saw. The trust is shattered, and honestly, I don't even know if I want to salvage what's left of this relationship. I've never felt so betrayed, so stupid for not noticing the signs sooner. But more than anything, I'm furious. How dare she invite her lover over while promising me she was faithful? I wonder how long this has been going on. What else have I missed? I don't even know if I was ever truly loved or just a pawn in her manipulative game. This isn't just about cheating. It's about feeling like I was played for a fool, like I didn't matter at all. And honestly, I don't know how I'm going to get past this. The moment I saw those messages, everything changed. It wasn't just a betrayal of fidelity, it was like a punch to the gut, a slap that made me question every moment I'd spent with her. I spent the next few hours packing around the house, trying to process what I'd discovered. I kept asking myself if I'd ever really known Lisa at all, or if I'd just been some fool all along. She's always been quick to lie, quick to flip the script whenever she got caught. But seeing her actual words, her own words, made it real. I remember the sick feeling in my stomach, like I'd been punched again. My hands trembled as I scrolled through her messages and photos, trying to understand how she could do this. It wasn't just the sex, which was bad enough, but the way she lied, the way she manipulated everything. She'd always been good at spinning stories, making herself the victim, turning me into the bad guy whenever she got caught in a lie. But this, it felt different. It felt like she'd been planning this behind my back for a while. I decided I had to confront her. I couldn't stay silent anymore. The anger was rising inside me, but underneath it all, there was this terrible sadness, a sense of loss. I'd loved her. Or at least I thought I did. But now, I wasn't even sure I'd ever really known who she was. That evening, I waited for her to come home. I made sure everything was ready. My words, my tone, the quiet intensity one knew I had to bring. I didn't want her to dodge or spin her way out of this one. When she finally walked through the door, her high heels clicking on the floor, I looked her straight in the eyes. "Lisa," I said, my voice steady but cold. "I know about Tom. I saw the messages. I saw the picture you posted with him, and the texts you sent late at night. You lied to me about going out with your friends. You invited him over when I was away. How long has this been going on?" Her face twisted into a sneer, like she was trying to brush it off, thinking she was clever. "Mike, this is nonsense. You're overreacting," she said, flipping her hair dismissively. "It's just sex. And honestly, I don't see what the big deal is," she said, dismissive. "I was bored, and he's just a neighbor. It's not like I love him or anything. You're making a mountain out of a molehill." My blood boiled. A mountain out of a molehill? Are you serious? You think I don't see what this is? You're lying right to my face again. You invited him over while I was gone. You told me you were busy. Do you even realize what you're doing? Or are you just so used to manipulating everyone around you that you don't even care? She rolled her eyes and crossed her arms. "Look, Mike, I don't have to explain myself to you. If you're so paranoid, maybe you're the insecure one. I didn't cheat on you, okay? We just had some fun. It's not like I'm leaving you for him or anything. You're blowing this way out of proportion." That was it. I lost it. I couldn't believe how casually she tossed around excuses like they meant nothing. How she called my feelings paranoia, as if I was the crazy one. I had never felt so betrayed in my life. All those years, I thought I was building a life with someone who loved me, cared about me. But it turned out she was just stringing me along, playing some twisted game she thought was funny or clever. Then I realized it wasn't just about the sex or the affair. It was about respect. Or rather, the complete lack of it. The shock slowly turned into rage. I wanted to scream, to break something, to make her see how much pain she'd caused me. But I held back, knowing what I really needed was to get out of there, to think, to breathe. I told her I was done talking. I needed time to figure things out. I didn't say what I was going to do next, but I knew this was just the beginning of a long, painful journey. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, and I wasn't sure I'd ever recover from this kind of betrayal. The days that followed were a blur of anger, sadness, and confusion. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face. That smug look she gave me when she lied again. The worst part was knowing she'd been lying to me for months. Maybe longer. She'd convinced me she was faithful, that I was everything to her, while secretly sneaking around with Tom. I kept replaying those moments, asking myself how I missed all the signs. How I didn't see her slipping away from us. I started looking for ways to get even if it was just in my mind. I was furious at her, but also at myself for not catching her sooner. I wanted to make her pay for what she did, but I wasn't the kind of guy to cheat in return. That wasn't me. Still, I knew I had to do something, some kind of revenge to regain my dignity, to remind her I wasn't some fool she could just manipulate. I decided to dig deeper into her phone. I wanted to find out if there were other men, more lies. I was surprised at how easy it was to access her messages since I knew her passcode. I wasn't proud of it, but I needed proof, something concrete. What I found was exactly what I feared. There were messages with other guys. Flirty, suggestive, some outright explicit. But what was worse was her attitude. She'd lie convincingly, deny everything, act innocent whenever I confronted her. She'd tell me she was just bored, that I was overreacting, that I didn't understand her. I saw her true colors, and it shattered the last bit of trust one had left. The most gut-wrenching moment came when I saw a text she sent to Tom describing how much she enjoyed their secret meetings. She called it fun, exhilarating, like she was some rebellious teenager sneaking around. And she always signed off with that _ tone, like she was so above everything, so clever. That moment made me realize she'd been playing me for a long time. She'd lied so much that I didn't even know what was real anymore. I knew I had to confront her again. This wasn't some petty argument that could be smoothed over. This was betrayal on a scale I'd never imagined. I didn't want to yell or scream, at least not yet. Instead, I planned to hit her where it hurt the most. Her lies, her reputation. I started gathering evidence, screenshots and everything I could find, to prove she'd been unfaithful to us. While I wasn't planning to walk away just yet, I wanted her to feel the weight of her actions. I wanted her to understand I wasn't going to be a doormat anymore. The first thing I did was set up a meeting, an accidental run-in where I could confront her without causing a scene. I invited her to a coffee shop, pretending I needed to talk about our relationship. When she showed up all __, I kept my cool. I told her I knew everything. Piece by piece, I laid out the evidence I had. Her face twisted like she thought she could lie her way out of it again. But I was done playing her game. Her reaction was classic Lisa. She tried to deny everything, claiming I was paranoid, that I must have misunderstood her. She said she was bored, that I wasn't paying enough attention, that she needed excitement. She called me insecure and possessive, as if I was the crazy one. But I didn't buy any of it. I told her I was done trusting her. That I didn't want to be with someone who manipulated and lied. I told her I deserved better than to be a pawn in her little manipulative game. That confrontation was like ripping off a bandage. It hurt, but I knew I had to be honest with myself. I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I saw her for what she truly was, manipulative and selfish. And I realized something else. I'd been a fool for staying this long, for trying to hold on to a relationship built on lies. It was a wake-up call that I needed to take control of my own life, no matter how much it hurt. Because the truth was, I'd been in love with an illusion. Now I had to figure out whether I was going to fight for this marriage or let it all go. After that meeting, everything shifted inside me. I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. Part of me wanted to scream, to break things, to make her see how badly she'd hurt me, but another part knew I needed clarity. I couldn't keep living in this fog of lies and betrayal. Lisa didn't go quietly, though. She tried every trick in the book. Pleading, crying, turning on the charm, acting like I was overreacting, like I was the one making everything difficult. But I wasn't buying it anymore. I knew I had to seriously think about my next move. It wasn't just about catching her in lies. It was about protecting myself, emotionally and mentally. I've always been a pretty straightforward guy, and I didn't want to spend months fighting over her cheating or manipulations. I thought about leaving, about cutting all ties. But part of me wondered if I could salvage anything. Honestly, I was so hurt and confused, I couldn't see clearly. But I knew I couldn't let her keep stringing me along. So, I gave myself some space. I moved out of the bedroom into the guest room. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done. Sleeping alone in that empty room while she was still there, acting like everything was normal. Every night, I lay awake, replaying everything, trying to figure out how I'd been so blind. It was like mourning a loss I hadn't even accepted yet. And it hit me hard. I'd lost the girl I thought I knew. And I didn't even know how I got here. During those lonely nights, I started thinking about revenge. Not in some petty way, but more like reasserting my dignity. I wanted her to see that I wasn't a fool, that her lies and manipulations wouldn't destroy me. I decided I'd find a way to make her regret what she'd done. But I had to be smart about it. If I was going to do something, it had to hurt her, and also make her realize she'd lost someone who genuinely cared, someone worth more than her little game. I also talked to a couple of close friends, people I trust, to get some perspective. One of them told me I should consider divorce, that a woman who cheats and lies like that isn't worth the trouble. Another said I should give her one more chance, but only if she was willing to be honest and fully committed. Honestly, I didn't know what to think. Part of me wanted to run, to forget everything and start over. But deep down, I knew I had to confront her again, this time with a plan, not just a burst of anger. Meanwhile, Lisa kept trying to play nice, acting like nothing had happened. She'd come into the room with fake smiles, trying to tempt me back with her charm. But I wasn't fooled anymore. I saw through her lies and manipulative attitude. I refused to be her puppet. I wanted her to understand that I wasn't some fool she could walk all over anymore. I was done being the guy she used, the one she could lie to and cheat on without consequences. That cold, angry part of me was waking up. Now, I'm at a crossroads, trying to decide if I want to fight for this marriage or just cut my losses and walk away. The betrayal runs so deep, I wonder if I can ever come back from it. Honestly, I'm scared. Scared of ending up alone. Scared of what my future looks like without her. But more than anything, I'm angry. Angry at her. Angry at myself for not seeing it sooner. Angry at this whole messed up situation. I just want to feel normal again, to forget the hurt and betrayal. But I know deep down I'll never forget what she did. I'll carry this pain and distrust with me for a long time. And I guess I'm still trying to figure out if I want to stay and try to heal, or if I've already made up my mind to walk away. The decision didn't come easily. Every day, I woke up feeling like I was stuck in some twisted nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I kept thinking about all the things she said, how she lied, how she manipulated me into thinking everything was fine when it wasn't. The worst part was that part of me still loved her, or at least wanted to believe I did. But that love was tainted now, spoiled by betrayal and deception. I started to see clearly that staying wasn't really an option anymore. Not because I didn't care, far from it, but because I couldn't keep pretending she was the woman I thought I married. The woman who promised to be faithful, who claimed she loved me. Instead, I found out she was capable of inviting her lover over while I was away, lying to my face about where she was, then trying to twist the truth to cover her tracks. How was I supposed to trust her again? How could I even look her in the eye and believe anything she said after all that? So, I made up my mind. I would confront her one last time, but this time with a plan. I wasn't going to let her gaslight me into staying or convince myself that maybe, just maybe, she'd change. I knew I had to put an end to this for my own sanity. I also decided to start gathering everything I'd need to make a clean break. Legal advice, the house papers, and solid evidence of her infidelity. I wasn't going to be the fool who let her walk all over me again. The night I told her I was leaving, she wore that same underscore expression, the one she always used when trying to manipulate or dismiss me. She said, "You're overreacting, Mike. This is ridiculous. I love you and I don't know what you're talking about. You're just being paranoid again." That was her go-to line. Deny, deny, deny. But this time, I wasn't buying it. I calmly told her I knew everything. The messages, the pictures, the lies. I told her I couldn't trust her anymore. I was done. Her reaction. Classic Lisa. She tried to act hurt, playing the victim like I was the one abandoning her. "You're throwing everything away over some stupid texts," she snapped. "You don't understand how much I meant to you. I was just bored. It was stupid, I admit. But I never loved Tom. I only love you." Yeah, right. That was what she wanted me to believe. But I was done buying her lies. I told her I was leaving, that I'd be filing for divorce and taking whatever I could to start fresh. I couldn't stay with someone who thought so little of me, who betrayed everything we had. As I packed that night, I felt this strange mix of relief and heartbreak. It was over. I had finally taken control, even if it hurt like hell. I knew I'd face emotional pain for a long time, but I was better off without her. I'd learned that betrayal isn't just about sex. It's about respect, honesty, and trust. And she had none of those anymore. Looking back, I realize I should have seen the signs earlier. Maybe I was too blind, too in love to notice the truth right in front of me. But now I see clearly. Lisa was never the person I thought she was. She was manipulative, selfish, and unfaithful. And I refuse to be her pawn anymore. I've got a lot of healing to do, and I'm not sure what the future holds. But one thing's for sure, I'm taking back my life. Nobody deserves to be played like a fool. Not me. Not anyone who's been betrayed like this. Since I left that night, everything feels different. The house is quiet. Almost too quiet. I've moved into a small apartment, trying to find my footing again. It's been a roller coaster. Days filled with anger, nights with tears, moments of clarity, and overwhelming regret. But through it all, I've learned something crucial. I am stronger than I thought. Betrayal cuts deep, but it forces you to confront the truth about yourself, and what you deserve. I don't regret exposing her. I don't regret seeing through her lies, even if it hurt like hell. What I regret is ever trusting her at all. But that's part of life. Learning, healing, moving on. I've come to realize I was never just some pawn in her game. I was someone who loved and trusted her, and she chose to throw that away for some fleeting thrill, some moment she thought would never come crashing down. Now, I see the lessons in all of this. Never ignore the signs of manipulation. Never let someone take your love for granted. And most importantly, never stay in a relationship where the foundation is built on lies. I'm not perfect. Who is? But I know I deserve honesty, respect, and someone who genuinely cares. I've come out of this knowing my worth, even if it's still a little battered. As for Lisa, I hope she realizes what she lost. Maybe someday she'll understand that love isn't something you can fake or manipulate, that respect and trust are earned, not discarded when it's convenient. But that's her problem now. I've got my own life to rebuild, my own dignity to restore. So I'm moving forward, not with hatred or bitterness. Those things only weigh you down. Instead, I'm focusing on healing, on rediscovering who I am without her. It's not easy, and I don't expect it to be overnight. But one thing is certain. I will never let someone treat me like that again. I will never be blind to the truth. And I will never accept betrayal as normal. This whole experience has taught me that love isn't about sacrifice or blind trust. It's about mutual respect, honesty, and loyalty. If those aren't in place, then what's the point? If you're in a relationship where the other person is just using you, lying to your face, cheating behind your back, then it's better to walk away and start fresh than stay and suffer in silence. To anyone going through something similar, you're not alone. Trust your gut. Don't ignore the signs. Remember, you deserve someone who truly values you, someone who's faithful, honest, and respectful. Because at the end of the day, love should never feel like a game you're losing. It should be real, genuine, and worth fighting for. But if it's not, then walk away. Because you're worth more than just a pawn in someone else's manipulative game.